Hello and welcome to this latest video here on New Esports. Not really a series, this is just sort of a one-off two-part feature. Last few years we have done a Team of the Year in each new FM grade. This year, I don't know, I wasn't originally going to do one, but I've got something together. Only for two grades though, the 17's and the 19's. Under 23s, I'm not even going to there was some days there where that was a bit of a lunch break. Obviously next year with the rescheduled, the format changing to free games, the 23s is going to be treated with a little bit more respect. I don't know, 23s, Team of the Year, no, just can't come up with one. 15s didn't really see enough games, and first grade, I mean, I could, but I don't know if anyone really cared too much. It'd be mainly Cooksville players, maybe with Tiga Marcus thrown in up front. Anyway, what we're here to do right now, and the 19s might come later tonight, whenever this is posted, it might come tomorrow, I don't know. This is the 17s, two teams. We got the main Team of the Year, which is based on the 4 teams that made the semi-finals, and then another Team of the Year for the teams that didn't make the finals. So we'll start with the ones that did make the finals. In goals, from Belmont Swansea, Danilo Apollonio, I can say it properly, getting used to saying it actually, very talented goalkeeper, and one that hopefully will stay at Bell Swans for 19s and have another strong year. Pulled off some excellent saves there towards the back end of the year, particularly in a game I watched against Kahaiba, I think it was. Talking about Kahaiba, at left back we got Liam Whitehead. For the life of me I can't remember if he plays left or right back, but he's there anyway. A very, very good player, picked for 19s next season, and someone who has stood out, and someone who's been picked out of 17s to play off the bench in 19s as well. And I know that's tough to do at some clubs, and Kahaiba is one of those. You've got to really stand out and play consistently, and Liam Whitehead's done that. Centre back from Bell Swans, Solomon Amos, very, very good player. Probably one of the better players in the competition that did not play finals. They only just missed out to Bell Swans, but Sol Amos did a wonderful job for them all season. Centre back, can sort of bit versatile, can play full back, just complete sort of package for a player at this age group, and has been rewarded in the 23s at times as well. Other centre back and captain of the team, Joseph Haddon from Kahaiba, just been a really, really good player for a couple of years now. This season sort of did a lot of the work further forward and scored a lot of goals for someone who's supposed to be a centre-back, but when he is at centre-back he's very hard to get past. And again, he wasn't picked for the 19s, he was picked for the senior squad for next season. That is the plan for Kahaiba, and Haddon, I think, is a future club captain, and I've been saying that for a couple of years and I'm not the only one. Right back, I wasn't really sure here. Went with Angus Hall from Wallsend. He's their captain. I think, yes, he is their captain. They had a few captains this year because of injury. He was injured at times, but sort of went from just being cameo bench player to starting player, and pretty influential sort of role that he played there. Decent on his day. Probably not one of the standouts in the competition, but if I'm going to pick a team and need a fullback, he'd be one that I'd probably put there. In the midfield, and we don't have any sort of CDMs, cam roll, wide, whatever works for this team. The team's not going to play a game. If it did, then you'd have to work something out. But midfield, Harrison Dyer from Bell Swans, he is their captain, co-captain. Very, very good player. Like, one of the best players in the 17s. He will be playing 23s, and I believe he'll be playing first grade at times next season, whether it be off the bench or whatever. I know that Josh Rufo's a big fan of Harry Dyer. I'm a big fan of Harry Dyer, and I think he is one of the many players there at Bellswans that are the future of that club. Midfield again, Ryan Stutchbury from Cahaiba. Apologies for the fan in the background. It's hot. These lights aren't exactly. It's not exactly cool in here. It's very warm. Stutchbury, solid season. Again, a player that's just heavily reliable, sort of like Haddon, just gets the job done, no questions asked, and one that has also been picked for the 19s at Cahaiba next year. Jackson Watkins from Fortin, the only Fortin player on this list in the starting team. There is one on the bench actually. Watkins I thought was a standout at Fortin, and that was a pretty average team at times this year. He's one of many that aren't going to be at the club next year, so I don't really know where he will end up. Obviously came from Maitland, so whether he goes back there or not, we will see. Other midfielder, Kyle Williams, probably more of a winger to be fair. Solid on his day, one of those reliable players that just gets the job done. Up front, 2-striker system, Daniel Keelan from Cahaiba. Not sure if he's been picked or not. I don't know the Cahaiba 17s next year. I don't know if he's still eligible for 17s, but he hasn't been picked for the 19s, so he'd be one that they probably not want to let slip through the cracks. But commitment did drop off a little bit towards the end of the year from Keelan. His performances probably were better in the middle portion of the year, but on his day, one of the better players in the competition. And joining him up front, Ben Smith from Wallsend, and those two together, Keelan and Smith, that would just be a very aggressive forward line. Two players that like to really get into the opponent's face and just take people on and score goals for fun. On the bench, backup goalkeeper Sean Eisenhower from Fortin Redbacks. I just thought about this, and obviously the other ones were Muddle from Cahaiba, Furness from Southie, whoever Cessnock had, they had a couple, and whoever the other team was, I don't even remember. Singleton. I thought Eisenhower was good for the Redbacks, so that's why he's there. Joining him on the bench, Jack Harrison from Southie. Just a solid player, like a real hungry sort of player. He's the captain there, one of the more experienced Southie players. Josh Shade from Singleton, probably their best defender this year. Jack Benson from Wallsend, another one that I really like, just got that hungry, aggressive football attitude, and I'm a fan of that. I think sometimes that's better over skill, just having the will to win and to succeed. Jacob Windsor up front for obvious reasons. He did score a hat-trick in round 1. If he can do that more often, then he'll be making these Team of the Years a bit easier, but very reliable on his day, but probably wasn't as good as he was last year. Alright, back. I think this is all the same video, so apologies for that little break there. This is the Under 17s Team of the Year, the real Team of the Year, the clubs that made finals. These are the best players in my opinion. I've turned the fan off because it was too loud, so it's very, very hot, so I'm going to try and get through this quickly. Backup, I'm going to start with the bench. Backup goalkeeper from Toronto, Awaba, Brock Redmond, moving to Westie 17s next season. Still 15, turning 16. I think he might have even been turning 15. I don't know. For his age, for his size, a standout keeper and someone who has potential to be even better in years to come, especially out there at Westie where they are so strong in those lower grades. Joining him is RB Watt from Toronto, the fullback. Solid on the ball, solid off the ball, just bumps people off and wins possession, and that's what I like to see from fullbacks especially. It's a tough role to play. They often don't get the credit that maybe centre-backs will, because the centre-backs are always there to back up the fullback, but RB Watt didn't need too much backup. He won a lot of challenges this year and was a standout for the Stags. Lewis Rougfield from Cooks Hill, probably maybe a strange choice to some out there, but I think if you're going to have a 16-man squad, you want to have at least one left-footed option going forward, and I know that he is one. He's a very solid left-footed option, and that's why he's there. Just gets the job done, no questions asked. Good for free kicks as well. Kai Drayton from Westie, maybe could have been in the starting lineup, but very, very, very good player. One of the better players on his day in the competition. Went a little bit quiet towards the back end of the season, as Westie did across their entire attacking sort of trio, quartet, whatever you like, however many there were. They did go a little bit quiet in the final series, went missing a little bit. Liam Walker, the other substitute, again, it's that attitude, it's just competitive nature. Probably not one of, well, I gave him Player of the Year at New Lambton, but probably not one of their, technically best standouts or whatever. You're looking at other players like Tyndall and that, but I think his attitude wins it for me. Starting lineup, this is where it is. This is where the action is. This is the team of the year. In goals, Josh Snedden from West Wallsend. I know that he didn't get goalkeeper of the year, but after the final series that he had, I think he deserves to be in the team of the year. He saved their bacon literally in that second semi-final against New Lambton. All New Lambton needed was one away goal, and Snedden pulled off some brilliant saves that day. Also joining him, Westie's defence was the best in the competition, so unsurprisingly 3 of their defenders have made it in. Jack Blomfield at left back. Talking about Lewis Rougfield, if there's a better left footer in the competition than Jack Blomfield, I haven't found one. And across most grades, standout left-footed option, standout fullback, and his free kicks on his day can be very, very good. Just asked Cooks Hill about that from that very cold night back in June or July or whenever that was. That was fun. This memory card's running out of space, so I'm going to hurry up. I'm going to get the afterburners on here. Centre back Brad Jackson from West Wallsend, excellent attitude, very, very rugged and in-your-face sort of defender. No BS, and that's what I like from centre backs. That's what you've got to have from centre backs. Hayden Pearce joins him, and I'd probably have him as captain if I had to pick a captain in this team. From New Lambton, he's also their captain and centre back. Those two together, Jackson and Pearce in centre back, I think that'd be a very good combination. And despite being sent off in the grand final in very dramatic circumstances, I'd have Jared Crawford at right back. Regardless of that send-off, stand out all season at full-back and has been for the last couple of years. He will be moving on though to another club. He wasn't named in the Westie lineup, but again, if I had to pick a team of the year, he'd be in it. Midfield, David Ball McKinnon from Cooks Hill. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. He's been one of their better players. Very versatile player. I'm trying to rush because it's telling me I've only got 3 minutes left on this memory card. But yeah, he is very, very good. Cooks Hill won the title. A lot of that was, sort of due to that work in the build-up, particularly from him. Liam Simpson from West Wallsend, he scored their Player of the Year award, or Best and Fairest, whatever it was. I sort of overlooked him at times this year, but now that I think about it and I get time to think back, I think, yes, he was very solid for West Wallsend, very reliable player, and very consistent. And I think that's a key word, because some of those Westie players did drop off from time to time. Nick Hart will join him in the midfield from Cooks Hill, scored that bomb goal at Bell Swans in the first semi. Just a really, really good player, and one that the higher grade coaches have their eyes on. Obviously tipped to maybe go for first grade over the next few years. Bobby Carter is another one that would be joining him, the captain of Cooks Hill 17's. Just very, very good player, very reliable. Up front, the top 2 strikers. One's probably not a striker, but more of an attacker, but he scored goals. I'd have Rory Cow-Nines from Cooks Hill. I think, on his day, the best player in the competition in the 17's. and his attitude, it pisses people off, and I think that's a winning attitude. That's how it's got to be from a player that's got talent and sort of knows how to use it on his day. I just think back to what he did in the semi-final and the grand final. He had an excellent final series, and he'd be up front in the Team of the Year alongside the Player of the Year from the 17's, Thomas Appleby. Get a calculator, figure out how many goals he actually got this season. It's a lot. And then when they put him in the 19's, and he just tore the place up and really showed Toronto 19's how to score goals that day up at Cessnock. Very talented player, and that is the Team of the Year in the 17's. The 19's will come later when I get another memory card that actually has space on it. Thank you for joining us. I will see you in the next video.